Hey guys, Bullion Bites here. Wanted to talk to you about coin collecting, finishing a series or a set of coins, what that is going to look like, kind of some tips for that whole process for you to kind of help go through that and kind of not lose motivation, not lose the drive along the way. So I wanted to start off with taking a look at the America the Beautiful series here. So I have these in the 5-ounce size, and these are the 2011s. I have more than what I'm going to show here on video. They're just in another box or in a different size, harder to fit on camera. But wanted to talk about the series as a whole and kind of what collecting a large series like this, or for example Morgan dollar, something like that, would entail, and kind of how you can kind of pace yourself and not kind of lose your focus or kind of lose the tenacity in doing it. This series, it started in 2010, ran to 2021, and there were 60 coins in this whole set, which each of these are 5 ounces. So you do the math on that, that's 300 ounces for the whole series. A lot of silver to stack. And you know, the average cost I would say on these was probably in the $120 to $150 range for what I paid for them. And you know, for this series, that's not too bad. Most of mine are the BU or the bullion type. They're not the burnished or the more collectible type, but they are, you know, still think they're nice. I think they're great in this size compared to the design. They are a quarter, they are technically a coin, but I think in the larger 5-ounce size, you just see the detail. It comes through so much more crisp. With a series like this, you know, with 60 coins, it's a lot to undertake. It's a lot to kind of commit yourself to. And I started collecting this years and years ago when they were still minting them fresh. And so a lot of these designs I got not when they first were issued, but shortly thereafter. And these designs, I love them. They're great. Some of them, I'd say, that's a duplicate, are, you know, better than others. This one, like, it looks great, but you know, I think they could have done a little bit more for that design. But for a large series like this, or for something like Morgan's, you know, you can kind of get lost or kind of get, you know, kind of overwhelmed going through a series when there's just so many to pick up along the way. And you know, you don't want to get discouraged and go, okay, well, I've got, you know, 10 in, or I've gotten 20 coins in, and now I'm kind of feeling winded or kind of gassed because there's just so many more to go. And you got to kind of pace yourself and kind of pick up some of the cheaper ones along the way. And when financially you're able to kind of get some of the more expensive, more key date, rare date type coins. For example, Frederick Douglass, that was a key date for this series. Acadia, Denali, the 2012s, Mount Rushmore, those were all key dates for this particular series, or I wouldn't say key dates, but more expensive options. Some of the later dates, like the 2018s, 2019s, they were a little bit more expensive, but they weren't nearly as much as the 2012s. If you don't believe me, go and check eBay. Listings for those are mostly in the low 200s, sometimes up to the 300s. But for a series like this, like Morgan dollars, I'm going to keep going back to Morgans because that's kind of the classic numismatic series that most people try and collect, or they think they want to become a collector and they try and look into that, and then they go, oh my gosh, there's so many in this series, and some of them are, you know, a couple $100. You know, is it really worth jumping into? And I would say, well, it depends on what you're wanting to do. If you're just wanting to have a good hobby, you know, let's say you've been stacking silver for a little while, it's, you know, a fun way to kind of break up the monotony. Whenever I get stuck on silver, okay, what to buy, you know, I'll go and I'll look at these and I'll say, you know, it's got some really nice artwork to it, some nice designs. It makes the savings aspect, or the investing, if you will, aspect of precious metals so much nicer, because it kind of adds some artwork, some, I would say, history to the collection nature, the savings nature of buying gold and silver. Now, I would caution you on getting into Morgan's or getting into an expensive series, something like this as well. Getting into something cheaper or easier to start, like a collection of Franklin half dollars, maybe Roosevelt dimes, something that's going to be an easier barrier to entry. There's going to be less dollars in for the fun of collecting, I think is a better way for you to go. Now, to each their own, whatever you want to start with, go ahead and start there. But like I said, there's 60 coins in this series, and I still have a few that I'm missing. But that's the nature of collection, is once it's complete, you're on to the next thing, you're on to the next series, you're on to the next set that you want to finish. So something to keep in mind. Wanted to kind of bring this one out. I wanted to get it on video, show it to you guys, kind of give you some encouragement here. This is probably half of the 5-ounce ATBs that I have in my collection, but wanted to show those to you guys here. If you have any questions, any concerns, leave them in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys want to see on the next video. I'm more than happy to answer any and all questions that you guys have. Leave them down below. And that is all for this one. I will see you guys on the next video. Bullion Bites out.